Guys, I hope you are doing awesome. Hey, we are continuing a little series that started after I did a video titled How Do I Fix a Difficult Relationship? It was about Abby and her destructive boyfriend, Zach. So lots of emails have come in, but I'm going to combine this one from many that I've gotten that have a similar situation going on, but I had to choose one that was kind of in the middle that would kind of encompass everybody, okay? So this one is about a young woman. We're gonna call her Vanessa, and her on-again, off-again boyfriend, we're gonna call him Max, okay? So Vanessa describes her relationship with Max initially as pretty hot and heavy. Like they were very attracted to each other. She called it magnetic. And so it took off really quickly, and it stayed that way for, a couple months. And then she noticed that Max was really pulling back. He, instead of wanting to spend time with her, he was hanging out more and more with friends and family. And she's like, yeah, of course we should hang out with friends and family. But he was like becoming unreliable, where they would have plans and he would just blow her off and ditch her. Not cool. And when she would ask him about it, he would get really ugly with her and nasty. And it's a valid question, right? A normal person who is not toxic would have immediately said, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. And they wouldn't have done it again, okay? Instead of turning it around to be how, she was too sensitive or something, okay? So that started this very toxic cycle. So when Vanessa would want to talk to him about something, he would either become very offended and spin things around to be her fault, or he would just tune her out. So she'd try to have a conversation with him, and while he's he's trying to watch a football game instead of pay attention to what's important to her, or play games on his iPad. That is so annoying. All that stuff is okay. It really sends the message, Vanessa, you're not important. Okay. So again, it just continued, and every time they have a discussion about it, it just blows up, turns into a huge fight. People say things that they shouldn't. Vanessa raises her hand and says, hey, I am not perfect. I said some things that I shouldn't have. I have contributed to this cycle. So my question is, how can I have a normal relationship with Max? And, basically, how can we make this not a cycle anymore? Well, what has gone on is Vanessa and Max keep breaking up and then hooking up, breaking up and hooking up. And, Vanessa wants that to stop. Well, of course, Max doesn't want that to stop because he's getting what he wants when they hook up, okay? We'll get to that later. The answer to your question, Vanessa, is you can't. You can't have a normal relationship with a Max, and this is why, okay? When you talk to Max about what's important to you and, what's been hurtful to you, how does he treat you? Not very nice, right? He's ugly, he's nasty, he turns things around to be your fault. There's never an apology in there. So how can that be normal, right? I mean, it's all happened to us, so I totally get it, okay? It's hard because you so want the good piece, the good part of this guy. But what you often get is all the yuck too, and that's kind of how it is with human beings. We all have, our flaws and stuff, but when our flaws are hurtful and destructive and toxic to other people, that's a problem, okay? So you're not gonna be able to have a normal relationship with Max until Max figures out that not everything is your fault. And, he has to own his stuff. He's got to raise his hand and say, yeah, I have messed up and I am terribly sorry and I am going to change. And he's got to change how he thinks, right? The toxic cycle, you mentioned the toxic cycle, and I'm so glad you did because that's exactly what it is. How do you stop a toxic cycle? Well, you starve it, just like an addiction. This is an addiction just like anything else, okay? You have upheaval, and then you make up, and you feel all better and warm fuzzy inside, then you have upheaval, and then you do it again. It's an addiction. And the only way to get over it is to starve it. So have a conversation with Max and say, I don't want this in my life anymore. I don't want you to email me, text me, call me, show up at work, show up at home, nothing. I don't want anything to do with you. And then you need to block his number. And the reason it's important to block it is because now you've got this cycle going on where he's inflamed and you react, and it's just, you know, like gas on a flame. And it will be almost impossible for you to not respond when he sends you a text, because it hasn't been working, right? We've all been in those situations where it's just like, this isn't working, we gotta do something else. If it's not working, you gotta change what you're doing, okay? Now, I do want to address the whole sex before marriage thing, okay? I am a proponent that you wait until you get married before you have sex, and this is why. It creates a lot of mess for both people. Well, I have lots of reasons, but this is the reason for today, for this video. I bet you anything that had Vanessa not slept with Max and he treated her that way, she'd have dropped him like a bad habit. There would have been no talking about it. But because she slept with him, there was an attachment to him, okay? It is destructive. Research is finding that it is very destructive emotionally to women to sleep with guys before you're married, because there's that attachment. It is hard on us as women, okay? Now, I'm just gonna tell you, if you're a guy watching this video, as a woman and as a hairdresser of many, 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 many women over the years who share their personal life with me, I'm just gonna tell you straight up, women need you to protect us, even if that's from you, okay? We feel taken advantage of when you push the sex card before marriage. Now, not a lot of women are gonna come out and tell you that, but deep down inside, they're gonna feel that way, especially after you marry her, okay? Lots of marriages where sex happened before the marriage, they're not so happy, okay? And deep down inside, the woman is a bit resentful about it. Just the way it is, even if she was consensual and participated and all that kind of stuff, okay? The other thing is, so many men have said, to some varying degree, but this is the main message, is if a woman gives us everything that she has early on in the relationship, she is teaching us that we don't have to do very much to get everything that she has, therefore we don't respect her, okay? Women, if you want to be respected, then don't do that, okay? I know that it's hard, I know that it goes against the culture, but just think about it, okay? You know, you're exposing yourself to all sorts of emotional damage and physical issues, okay? So if you're not ready for all of that, then don't, okay? And also, you want to be with people that are really sensitive to your needs and you are sensitive to theirs, that it's this, you know, two-way street, and that you're sweet and kind with each other, okay? So in the description, I am going to list some books for you to take advantage of. One of them is called Why Does He Do That? It's a guide to knowing if your relationship can and should be saved. One is called Why Does He Do That? Inside the Minds of Controlling Men. Oh, maybe the first one was Should I Stay or Should I Go? Anyway, you'll just have to figure it out in the description. Then some other ones from Brene Brown, just kind of helping us heal on the inside. If you're a Vanessa, I would highly recommend after you get out of this relationship that you would go see a therapist, you know, for a little while, or read some books to try to make sure that this cycle doesn't continue into your other relationships, because you've made it very clear that you don't want it there, okay? Now, if you're a Max, I so hope that you recognize yourself in this. It's okay, we're all human, we screw up. I just hope you recognize it and raise your hand and say, I'm really sorry and I don't want to act like that anymore, and I'm going to change how I think. So I hope that helps, and I will see you next time. Love you all. Bye.